Completion. Everyone knows the feeling of beating that one game that's giving you trouble for the longest time. But only the most hardcore gamers know the feeling of doing everything there is to do in a game. Therefore, completing it, or 100%ing it. This concept has been around since the very beginning of gaming, and will seemingly never end until games become infinitely generated monstrosities. But I'm starting to notice a trend appearing in terms of the rewards for these achievements. They're just not as good anymore. In today's video, I will be discussing the downfall of gaming completion rewards. Super Mario Bros. If we were to start with any game, it would have to be this one. When you beat this game, every Goomba becomes a Buzzy Beetle, every Koopa Troopa is faster, and every platform is smaller. This makes somewhat of a hard mode for the game, and while this may not seem like much, it's excused by being one of the first to do something like this. Metroid, however, would take this concept to the next level. Back in the day, people were under the impression that Samus was just another dude in a suit. But like the Alien franchise this game was heavily inspired by, it had a female protagonist. Something only known after beating the game in under 3 hours. And especially the ending for under a single hour, going down in history as one of the greatest completion bonuses ever conceived. The Wario Land series actually takes this approach with separate endings depending on how many coins and treasures you get. And it's far from the only Wario Land game to have an ending so crazy. Super Mario World's completion bonus makes the entire game have a fall aesthetic, and changes the enemy sprites, which is great and all until you realize there's no way to change your save file back. Whoops. But around this time, the greatest completion reward ever has to go to Mega Man X. This game let you get a power-up from Street Fighter that lets you one-shot every enemy in the game. The one and only Hadouken. Hopping into the Nintendo 64, we were introduced to 3D gaming. Mario 64 had up to 120 Power Stars to collect. So what happens when you get all of them? Well, Yoshi's on the roof of the castle. Can you ride him? No. Can you play as him? Also no. Big disappointment coming off from the previous generation, setting a precedent for secret endings and bonuses. But hopefully this is a one-off, right? Donkey Kong 64. One of the most infamously difficult games to complete, due to the sheer amount of collectibles. This game has got to give you something awesome for obtaining all these. I mean, it'd be stupid if they give you a cutscene that's admittedly very strange.
Next.
Real quick, I want to mention a couple series that have been getting handheld entries around this time. Kirby had been doing the Super Mario Bros. Approach of minimal difficulty changes after completing the game. The Mario re-releases had tacked on title screen changes when you complete the game, like this Yoshi hatching from the egg, and changing color depending on the completion amount. Metroid around this time had been developing a sort of habit of doing the same ending reward over and over again, which persists to this very day. I mean, I'm not complaining, but come on guys. So let's talk about the Nintendo Switch. How have the rewards been lately? The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was a Wii U game, but it was also a Switch launch title, so I'm including it here. Deal with it. Nintendo cooked up one of, if not the most infamous rewards in all of gaming history. Something to rival Donkey Kong 64's collectibles. Korok Seeds. What happens when you collect all these woodland fiends? You get given a golden piece of shit. If you've somehow never heard of the story by now, that is. And I heard someone say something along the lines of, this is an allegory to how the journey is more important than the reward. Screw that crap. I grew up on classic video game completion rewards. While some of them were underwhelming, they undeniably had charm and didn't slap you across the face for your hard work and effort. And nothing is ever going to beat the classics.